Welcome to 50 Shades of Blue podcast with author-speaker Sharon K. Griffin, a.k.a. Madam Butterfly. This is the show where we have authentic conversations with ordinary people, experts, and influencers. Each episode, we dive deep into love, life, dating, relationships, spirituality, and anything you can or cannot imagine. Anything goes. Our goal is to provide you with thought-provoking information and perspectives that you can use to enhance your own knowledge and understanding to change your world and make you smile. This show is not for the faint of heart, and if you have to clutch your pearls, don't clutch them too tight. We want you to return on next week. So sit back, relax, grab your favorite drink and your girlfriends, and join us as we take you on an unexpected journey of self-discovery. Men, you can listen in too.
Hey butterflies, it's your girl Sharon K. Griffin, aka Madam Butterfly. Yes, on 50 Shades of Blue podcast. Okay, and today we have another wonderful, beautiful guest. I'm out of breath, y'all. I've been running around all morning, late for everything. Woo child, woo sa. Okay. So my guest, her name is Marisol.
Nice. Like
Baxter
it.
Graham.
Yes.
And she's amazing. Let me tell you about her. So she's the one that suggested a podcast and call it 50 Shades. No, on the blue couch, because we have a blue couch here.
And we were sitting on the blue couch.
Yeah. But I have to say this. You sparked something in me that someone said that I listened, but I kind of ignored.
Yeah.
So when you said it, I ran with it. And I want to say thank you, first of all. Okay. Thank you. So, y'all, I don't have one. Go ahead.
No, I was like, I just figured that I was just like a messenger.
Really?
Yeah, because
I love it.
Clearly it had been a message that had been brought to you before.
Right.
But you ignored it, and now it's reiterated.
Yes.
And so there's no thanks needed, because it was in you anyway.
But I want to ask you, like, I believe that God gives us downloads.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So was it a download, like, say this to her, or was it more natural? I mean, both of them are natural, but
I would have to say more natural.
Okay.
Because while we were sitting on the couch and we were talking about marketing and different marketing ideas and everything, like all of a sudden, what you had said was, I love this. I love talking to women. I love having these open conversations.
Okay.
And because your assistant was there at the time too.
Yes.
And we were just all drinking wine and talking. And at that moment, for whatever reason, something just told me, we'll tell her, hey, you should probably do a podcast. And you even told me, yes, I've been thinking about that, but I haven't jumped on it. And then that's when I was like, well, maybe now's the time. And and then we just kind of flowed from there.
Well, I want to say thank you, because I feel like my life right now is going full circle.
Nice.
So my manager, after you suggested the podcast, excuse me, y'all, only a little bit. My manager said to me, what do you want to do? And I was like, no one's ever challenged me or asked me that. Yes, I have this, right? But no one's really ever asked me, what do you want? I'm always the one that's encouraging and asking other people those questions. So then I go into my therapist's office in my scrubs. I was just coming from here. That day I was rushing around, so I just threw on scrubs. Got to her and she was like, that ain't you. Like my therapist, she's clinical, but she's spiritual as well. She was like, that ain't you.
Doing the podcast?
No. Oh. When I went to her office.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, okay. Every Tuesday I go at 12. So when I went in my scrubs and she just looked at me and she said, that's not you. She said, that was you. And that's what you learned, but that's not you. And I was like, and it made me think even more.
Yeah.
So I have to say thank you for being a catalyst for this. So I want you to tell my audience, like, what you do, who you are, all that great stuff, because you're a mighty woman.
Aw.
With great gifts and talents, and we have something here to share for y'all to get them coins out. Somebody, okay, get the coins out and buy it. But anyway, tell them who you are.
Oh, well, so I'm an entrepreneur. I'm not used to looking at cameras, so I'll probably be looking at Sharon a lot. I'm an entrepreneur. I started my company over 10 years ago. When I started it, it was in graphic design because I am an artist at heart. What I do now is I sell home decor and gifts. But at one point, I had designed handbags, and it was right before the pandemic. And when the pandemic hit, all the work I did that I put into the handbags, the photo shoots, everything, all of a sudden I couldn't find materials, manufacturers, and it was a very hard thing for me to do, but I ended up having to like let it go. And then meeting Sharon though, and us just talking and everything, and me like telling her that, she's like, well, I want to see your handbags. And so, showed you my handbags, everything. And then just with all your questions and all of that. And I have to thank you now.
Oh, you're welcome.
And I know I sent it in an email.
You
but
did.
I need to also thank you because, so you guys know, with Sharon and all the questions she asked and everything, I had to actually put a value on the time and the idea and the effort and everything that went into designing the handbags. And I hadn't done that before. We make these assumptions when we can do these things like drawing, sketching. Right. Everyone can.
And you're phenomenal at it.
Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
And having to put a value on it, it made me really realize what a huge endeavor it was to create those handbags.
Yes.
And I hadn't done that before.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it made me realize, like, it was my oh shit moment.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
When I actually had to put a value on everything and like itemize it, and my hours and this and that, and this is what this took, and this is how long that took, and this cost this, and then like, well, how do you put a value on that? And I actually use artificial intelligence. Like, yeah. So it's a new thing now with artificial intelligence. We have all these things. We have Canva, we have Bard, we have even Bing now you can click on a button and you can go to their AI and you can ask it a question and it will scrub the internet.
Really?
And it'll find you references and links and things to articles and so forth. And so I asked the question because I was at a moment where I'm like, I don't know how to put a dollar on this. And I was like, well, I'm gonna ask Bing. And I did. I clicked the button. And that was the question I asked was, how do you place a value on designing and creating a unique handbag? And it took a minute or two, but then it said, I can answer that question. And then it gave me links to all of these different websites that actually did a level of it does level of intelligence, but I don't really like to call it that way because we all have our own thing that we're special at. Right. So like grading intelligence, like for me, I don't really like doing that. Because yes, there's people that have doctorates and they're good in their field, and they know their field. But then if you put them on the street, they couldn't function.
There's a lot of people like that. And
there's a lot of people that know how to hustle.
Yes.
And are smart and good at it, and they don't have that piece of paper, and so they're immediately disqualified. Their intelligence is disqualified because of the fact that they don't have the paper.
Right.
And for me, I'm like, and I'm not dissing anyone that took all their time to get their doctorates or anything. It was a huge accomplishment for you. I'm just saying that don't judge a book by its cover.
Right.
Because there could be somebody that's on the street, and you're talking to them, and they actually are highly intelligent, know how to do something, can figure it out. Everyone has their specialty.
So with you saying that, did you know that there are so many people in jail who are highly, highly, highly intelligent? Like, so I'm thinking of a drug dealer, right?
Right. They needed their powers to be like utilized for good.
Right. but they can market.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
They're good at money,
numbers,
financing. Yes.
Figuring out their profit.
Yes. Management. All of that.
Delegating.
So, yes. So the example, it might be extreme to some of y'all, but people who are in prison are highly intelligent. They just didn't put it to good use. So I had to stop and say that.
Well, and so my husband has a saying, and it's desperate people do desperate things.
Yeah, yeah,
you know.
yeah,
So
yeah.
even with this high intelligence, and perhaps that person didn't have the right one to guide them,
Right.
you know, that it also, a lot of it came out of desperation,
I
desperation
agree.
to possibly maybe feed their family, or to, they needed clothes on their back, or they,
Yes,
different things.
yes,
And
yes.
desperate people do just desperate things. And
Right.
so,
So
like that whole Breaking Bad, he was
I've
in a
seen
desperate
that.
he was in a desperate situation, then it just spiraled.
Well, I mean, people do what they have to do
Yeah.
at that time. Whether we agree with it or not, it's survival mode.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of things I totally don't agree with, but it is survival mode for a lot of people. But back to your purse. So you put some money on it.
I did.
Yes.
Yes. Well, so going back, going to several of the links that the AI program gave to me, it put creativity as the highest level.
Okay.
To be able to conceive and create a different idea and so forth, they find it to be at the very highest level.
Okay.
And
okay.
for me, I was like, really?
Well,
because artwork and artists, like, it's paid at the lowest level. And so for me, I was just kind of like surprised by that.
But think of,
And they gave me a formula on how to,
okay.
like, it gave me a formula on how to figure it out. And
Okay,
so I used
okay.
the formula, and then doing that, I was like, it was, again, sorry, my cussing, it's an oh shit moment. Because it was. I was like,
you don't
oh
have
shit.
to say sorry here. Oh shit.
Yeah. Because it really was. It was my oh shit moment.
Right.
Yeah.
So you're totally creative. So I want to go back to like Louis Vuitton and oh my God, what's the one? It's like a face and it has the flower. Versace.
Yes.
Did you know that they actually got their symbols from Africa?
No.
Ndinkra symbols.
No.
Yeah, so
Okay.
they actually, and I don't want to say stole because they're out there, but they actually used Africa's symbols to make money off of people.
So, well, okay, and this goes into a whole thing, and I'm not wanting to start like debates with anybody or anything like that. Would it be
Girl, debates are good. Look, if y'all want to debate it, call me, not her.
But
anyway,
but would it be appropriate? Like, would it actually? I would view it as appropriation,
mm-hmm.
But is it appropriation or is it appreciation? And then that goes into like a whole debate with people as well. I have appreciations for a lot of different cultures.
Exactly.
And the reason why I have an appreciation for a lot of different cultures is because I'm a half and half. And,
okay, explain half and half because people don't know half what.
Yeah. So for me, my half and half is that I am half Hispanic and then also half Anglo. And but being half and half, growing up, I have always been on the outskirts of in either one of my culture.
Okay.
I was always too ethnic for Anglo people.
Okay.
And then I was too Anglo for Hispanic people.
Okay.
And so I would be ridiculed by both.
Okay.
And
so where'd you fit in?
I fit in with the misfits.
And I'm a misfit.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
People that were open-minded. Creatives that were open-minded, and we were labeled the misfits.
Yeah.
And so I had, or still have, an appreciation for a lot of different cultures, because within the misfits, it was those that were like me, that were half and half, and didn't fit in anywhere, and not just half Hispanic and half Anglo, but also half Black and half white.
Okay.
Also like half Asian and half white, like all of us half and halves.
Okay.
And then along with that, we also had like, I had one of my best friends growing up was Filipino.
Okay.
And so I have a huge appreciation for like the Asian culture and things like that. And then we also had like friends that were also from India and Pakistan. And so like even like appreciation for, for foods and part of that culture as well. And I find that sometimes like when I draw and my childhood comes out, but then I have people that come to me like, oh, it's appropriation. And I was like, okay. I understand
Could
where
you
you're coming from.
explain like what appropriation is?
That's when you take another person's culture and you use it as your own in order to
Okay.
benefit yourself.
Okay, like Louis Vuitton
and taking it and making money off of it.
like Louis Vuitton
Yeah.
and Versace then.
Mhm.
I mean, there's other brands that have done the same thing. And I did not know that. Let me tell you, TikTok teaches you everything. And then once I learned it on TikTok, I did my research.
Yeah.
And my husband had been speaking to me about the Indinkra symbols anyway.
Yeah.
So I just found that interesting and amazing to say the least. And I guess I should say allegedly, because everyone is too happy these days. So allegedly, do your own research, people.
Yes.
But so why were people saying that you were appropriating other cultures?
Well, honestly, I never really like dove into their why. I just
Okay,
kind of, oh, because it's just
you didn't take a sip yet.
not yet, but it's just I guess I could just say that it's just my kindness
Okay.
is that when someone tells me that, you hurt my feelings or I don't like what you said, that I go, "Oh, I'm sorry."
Girl,
That's just who I am. That I
that
go,
used to be who I am.
yeah,
But go
and
ahead.
oh, I'm sorry, and then I just don't do it again. And
Really?
yes, but it's not
You're too
until
nice.
I have that problem.
You need to be kind. Do you know the difference?
Between kind and nice.
Yes.
No. So go ahead
Okay.
and tell me no.
So the reason I say that you're nice is because you're not giving people what they give you, the energy. You're going above and beyond, even though they don't deserve it, right? Kindness is I'm giving you exactly what you give me. So if you treat
Okay.
me wonderful, I'm gonna treat you wonderful.
Okay.
But if you treat me like a bitch, you're gonna be the biggest bitch. Does
Okay.
that make sense?
It does make sense. And you're
Yeah.
right. Yes.
Yeah.
Nice
Hmm.
as opposed
Nice
to kind.
people finish last.
Well, and I'm starting to realize that.
Yeah.
Because like you said, I do. I put a lot of energy into things and then I don't always get the same
Results.
yes.
So I want to say this. So Marisol actually did the logo for 50 Shades of Blue podcast. So I want to say thank you. And you don't know this. So when you originally did On the Blue Couch podcast, that night I was going to bed and I just said out loud, I need to get a logo. And I woke up and the logo was there. So that's just how the universe
And energy flows.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Because
thank you.
I was actually at home that morning and I was in the middle of wrapping up an order and everything to get it out of the
Okay.
door. And all of a sudden, again, something in my head told me she needs a logo, put something together. And so, and I sat,
Wow.
and like I said before, I was in graphic design before. And so I sat down and that's what I did. I created your logo and then I just sent it to
appreciate it.
you.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I woke up and I was like, okay, God, like you really heard me. So thank you for allowing God to use you if you use the term God twice
Yeah.
on my behalf. Because I can say that you have helped to change the trajectory of who I am and where I'm going.
Oh.
So yes, I'm going to have this still, right? It's
Yeah.
already franchised. However, what I've also decided to do, and I want to say thank you to Dr. Dr. Oh my God.
I blank on names all the time.
Okay, God, please
I'm sorry.
forgive
I'm
me.
not going to be able to
So
help you.
I'm okay. So anyway,
Sarah?
thank you, Dr. Sarah.
Okay.
And I'm sorry for, forgetting your name. It was a brain fart. So she walked me through what I need to be doing for 4.5 hours on a Sunday.
She's a beautiful person.
Let me tell you. So I'm circling back. I'm going backwards.
Yeah.
To dating and relationship coaching and matchmaking because I used to do it before.
Oh, nice.
And I don't know why I put it down, but
I would think it would be kind of draining.
No, it's fun.
Really?
I love it.
Well, the reason why I say that is because so when I was younger, I was very much into meditation and crystals and, you know, things like that. Open-minded people.
Okay.
And so in one of the meditation sessions, I remember there was a woman that was there and she was talking about it. And she said that sometimes when people need so much from you and you help them, they are pulling your energy from you.
That's true.
And that you have to kind of reset.
Right.
Yeah. Which is why I was like, I would think that would be kind of draining. Because
not for me.
Well, no, but
okay, yeah, but you're right. You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. It actually gives me energy.
Nice.
And I get excited and I love setting up dates. I love networking, talking to people. Like, it's just who I am. I actually hooked my parents up when I was 12.
Aw.
Yeah. Yeah. I said to my dad, stepdad, dad, I said, won't you get my mom some roses? It was Valentine's Day. He was bringing me home from church and he stopped and got 2 dozen. And they were dating since. And they've been married, I think, almost 40 years now.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm.
I like that.
Yeah. So in that spectrum, I could do life coaching. I can help women and men to heal. And it's totally me. I love dressing up and looking cute and going out and schmoozing
and you always have a very good energy.
Thank you.
Yeah, well, because even before we turned on the cameras, she was telling me how people always open up to you.
Yes,
and it's true because we've also had like several. Well, we've had a few meetings here where literally people will be talking and they will start crying while here, you know, and it's nice to have that safe space.
And you know what? So part of what I'm going to be doing is using this as a healing center.
Nice.
I
like it.
Oh, thank you. Because so many men and women need to be healed. And we rarely talk about the men needing to be healed. So what do you feel about that? I'm going to tell you guys, I'm a little laid back today because she told me I couldn't talk about sex. Well, her sex. Yes. Well, I'm not going to ask about yours. It's just an open topic. Okay. Are you allowed to talk about openness? Like open, not you, not your husband.
Yeah.
Just, oh, okay. So we good. But anyway, like your energy just brings me like calm.
Good. I'm glad.
In peace.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
no. It's absolutely reciprocated. It's totally ditto.
Okay.
But like as soon as I even walked through the door, even though you were stressed, and I walked through the door, I was like, okay.
Really?
Yeah.
You know what? This space, so I play a lot of worship music, right? And I also talk to God a lot in here. And I talk about healing and stuff like that. So I don't know if that's why this place resonates that, because it's what I dedicated this space to be.
Yeah.
You know, yeah. So anyway, do me a favor. So I want you to show my listening audience, the ones who's watching on YouTube, your purse.
Oh, okay.
Here, I'll hold.
So the handbag that I'm going to show is actually my art piece. It's not the everyday.
But it
the
can
everyday
be.
Bag. So all I'm saying. I'm
minding my business, y'all.
No. I'm doing a disclaimer that, you know, if I pull out the handbag and you're like looking at it going, what the hell? Like, that's what it is. It's truly an art piece. It was created as my little art moment. And so it was based on Alice in Wonderland.
That's beautiful.
And so it's a teapot bag. I actually based the design on like a 1950s box bag. And so that's what it is. It has the same little flap. It has everything like that. It's just an open box on the inside for you to just put your things in. But the reason why I say that it's my art piece is because the brass pieces that you see here on the handle, and then even the little brass rabbit, a lot of people believe that these items on handbags are prefabricated, and that they're prefabricated and someone just ordered it in.
Okay.
And what a lot of people don't realize is that I actually designed this. This that you see here is my artwork that I designed. I had it created into a CAD drawing. I sent it to a company that use the lost wax process.
Okay.
And the lost wax process is that they'll take your CAD drawing, they use a 3D printer, and they 3D print your drawing into wax. And so you have a cast, and then they will pour the brass into it. And then once the brass cools,
Okay.
they take the wax off of it, and then there's your brass
Voila.
piece.
I love it.
And then same thing with my little rabbit here as well. And my little rabbit I designed.
Okay.
And I had to design all of these in a 3-dimensional format.
Okay.
So that means even whenever I sent my drawing for the CAD drawing to be created, I had to do it from here, 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 here,
wow.
here, 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 in order for them to be able to even like create these brass pieces to go onto the handle.
Wow.
And then another thing that people don't realize about handbags, because I didn't really realize it until I got into this.
Okay.
Everything you see on the handbag, not just the design of it, I had to tell them the measurements, the drop of the handle, which is from here to here, the length here, how big I wanted the D-rings to be, how big I wanted this little part here.
Okay.
This part is not what I designed, but this is what they had to do last minute because this came in last minute for the photo shoot.
Okay. It's cute though.
I literally had to tell them how wide here, how wide here, how long here.
Okay.
On all sides.
Okay.
All sides. Same thing even on this little part right here. How wide, how big, how long.
Okay.
Everything. And then on the inside, how did I want it attached? How did I want the material to be?
Okay.
And same thing. Had to like give the measurements and so forth. And then even on the bottom.
I love it.
And the little brass feet.
Yes.
And then on the pattern itself for the vegan leather, all of this is my artwork. So, and one woman thought that meant I hand painted it. It's not hand painted.
Okay.
But I did, again, I was previous life, graphic designer, always an artist. This is all my artwork. I drew it into a program. I put it into Illustrator.
Okay.
I then created it into a textile pattern, which means it has a repeat pattern.
Okay.
To where you don't see the seams. It all just looks like it's one continuous pattern.
Okay.
And what I did in it, I've put elements of Alice in Wonderland. So there's the white rabbit. There's the teapot for the Mad Hatter.
Okay.
The hedgehog for when they play croquet.
Okay.
There's the sewing needle. There's also the top hat. There's the bottle for when she drinks the bottle. And, and like if you get a magnifying glass, it even says "drink me."
Oh wow.
And then the roses to represent the Red Queen.
Okay.
And then somewhere on here, yep, I have the clock. For the rabbit.
Okay. So I have to ask you, because what if someone wants to purchase this one from you?
I will. I don't have it on my website any longer because, again, when everything happened with COVID, I had it on there for a while as pre-order. But then the longer COVID went on and the harder it was to get supplies.
Okay.
The company that was even manufacturing it, at one point, they had to shut down.
Okay.
Because someone in the facility had contracted COVID and they had to shut down for like 2 weeks, etc. You know, decontaminate, all of that. That I pivoted. I went to home decor. I still kept it on my website.
Okay.
And just like your friend told you, what is it you want to do?
Yes.
I have a friend also, we were having lunch together.
Okay.
And she even told me, you know, your website doesn't really jive. You have these handbags and then you have home decor.
Okay.
And they don't really go together.
Okay.
And she's like, so what is it you want to do? And I had to have that very hard moment where I had to let this go.
Okay.
And so I pulled all the handbags off of the website.
Okay.
Now, the everyday bags, I had everyday bags. And if you go to the media section, you'll see images from the photo shoots. Because we put so much love into those photo shoots.
Yes.
I could not pull the images from it.
I understand that. They're beautiful too.
Yeah.
Like totally.
And it was so much fun. It was a lot of fun doing them. And I feel very blessed. And in fact, the day that we did the Alice in Wonderland photo shoot was when all the notifications went off on everybody's phone for us to have the stay at home.
Okay.
For Texas.
Got you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so we were like, okay, well, let's finish up, everybody. And then, you know, we'll go stay at home.
And then we're going to go home.
Yeah. And at that time, everyone thought, you know, oh, it'll just be 3 weeks. And then we're back on in the groove.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah. And then a year later.
So how much would you sell that bag
I'm
for?
sorry. Sorry. And I keep hitting the microphone too.
It's only going to be muffled. No. I'm only messing.
That bag, it's a bespoke bag. It would have to be handmade every single time.
Okay.
It would not be able to go through a machine or any of that. And so that bag would be about $4,300.
Yeah, here, and someone has $4,300 to purchase a one-of-a-kind piece, okay? So you have to make sure that you hit Marisol up, and she'll give you all her information at the end, or hit me up, and I'll get you in contact with her, and y'all can make the exchange.
Yeah.
So anyway, I was telling you that I keep meeting couples, right?
Yeah.
Me and my husband, when we're just out and about, and somehow these couples are attracted to us, right? So we end up having like date night with strangers, which is pretty cool. It's fun, it's organic, and I love it, right? And one thing that I've been accused of is bringing out the best or the wild in everyone. Yes, yes. So these women get to experience the wild. But we were talking, and you were saying that some cultures tend to back up with certain conversations, right?
Yes.
So with me, the same culture, and these are white women, they love me. They literally love me. And I think that I'm their freedom, if that makes sense.
Yes.
That a lot of women have been, let's say, stay-at-home moms or just bored, that when we connect, it's like the wild child is there.
Yeah.
And I just give them that freedom.
Well, and I think you also give them that freedom because you don't judge.
No.
Not at all.
No.
You know, and I think because when we were talking and everything that my husband was telling me, like, oh, well, you know, they don't talk about things like that. That's not discussed. And I'm like, oh, okay. Mental note.
Okay,
okay. But he said, because women judge other women. Oh, they do? Mental note. Got it.
Okay.
And I think that's also another reason why we connect so well is because of the fact that, well, I don't judge and you don't judge.
Right.
You know? And so I think sitting with you for a while, women start to realize I can say whatever I want, and she won't care.
Child, I don't. So let me tell you the conversation Saturday night. The conversation was, I said, girl, I feel like hiking up my dress and twerking my ass. I got on thong bikinis, right?
Yeah.
And she said, oh my God, I have on Spanx.
Everything's sucking it all in.
And we just laughed, and I have on Spanx today.
And that's okay.
Yeah. And we just laughed, and I have the best pictures of us having a great time.
Aww.
And you, give me your thoughts and your opinion about this. So I'm getting ready to launch something, a dating experience.
Yes.
Right? Not them just going on a date, but me and my husband going with them, or if women want to get together and we all hang out, you know, where they can just be free.
You know, honestly, that could probably even take the edge off of like first dates.
You think so?
Yeah. Well, because like, well, it's been a long time.
I love
I've
that.
been on a first date. But
okay.
But first dates can be kind of nerve-wracking.
You think?
Yeah. Well, for certain people.
I used to love dating.
Well, see, for me, my dating experience was very limited.
Okay.
Honestly.
Okay.
And
why?
So my first husband was my high school sweetheart.
Okay, got you.
And so, like, you know, during high school we were together.
Okay.
And then after high school, you know, we were married.
Okay.
And then I dealt with everything that happened with that.
Okay.
And the next thing I know, I was divorced.
Okay.
And then being divorced, I didn't know what to do because all my experience was high school.
Okay.
Like I didn't know how to date like as a grown woman.
Okay.
You know.
So how'd you pivot into that or learn how to date?
So I had a friend.
Okay. see, everyone needs a friend.
That well, for her, she was just like, you know, well, what's the big deal? Like, you know, just give him your number. And I'm like,
okay.
And so for me, like, even the very first time I would give a guy a number, and on the first date, so okay, let's back it up.
Okay.
my first husband ended up being a drug addict, and that's what I dealt with. Okay. And so with that, it's not just the drug addiction, comes so many other different things. And along with it comes like, feelings of inadequacy and so forth. He didn't intend to be mentally abusive, but it was his addiction that kind of like pulled that to him. And so with it, I had a lot of self-doubt. And ending up with him, I already had self-doubt to begin with. And then
why?
Childhood.
And we've
always
talked about
being on the outskirts, things like
Got
that.
you.
And so then have self-doubt, you get into a relationship with someone, it gets bad, self-doubt gets even worse.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden I'm thrown into being on my own, and now I'm supposed to date. And so going on the first date, like I'm sitting there thinking, why would this guy want to be with me?
Are you serious?
Yes.
I would be thinking, this is an honor to be with me.
Well, that wasn't until my 30s. That didn't happen for me until my 30s. So here I am in my 20s though, and I'm like this broken little thing thinking, why would this guy want to be with me? And all those thoughts kept running through my head, all the little things that, my ex-husband
self-doubt
would say and things like that. And and that's why I would think, why would this guy want to be with me? And so, I would be completely nervous on the first day. And, the guy would like, he would kind of stumble. So you could kind of tell he was nervous as well. So that's why I'm like, that would probably break the monotony, having like a couple that's fun and wild and like to kind of like, it's fine, you're fine. You know what I mean?
So I had this lady up on the dance floor. There was no dance floor, but we were dancing, and she was like, oh my God, this is so fun. Girl, I remember it being 2:00 in the morning, and I remember waking up at 2:00 the next day. I never sleep that long. So I just had a great time, and I just feel like women should date and men with ease, no expectations. We're just going to hang out. We're going to kick it. We're going to have fun
and get to know each other. Because a lot of times, I tell everybody everything's marketing.
Yes.
And I would even tell my nieces and nephews, I'm like, everything is marketing, including your job interview. You're selling yourself.
Right.
And it's the same thing with dating.
Yes.
You're selling a version of yourself, but it's not the real version. It's not until they get into like maybe the 6th or 8th or 10th date.
I think women and men should sell the real version
from the
first.
So then you know what you're getting into. So that was my first date with my husband now. So my husband now is my third husband.
Child more 5.
Well, and my second husband, I ended up with my second husband because he would not leave me alone.
So you felt pressured to like date him or marry him?
It was just years and years and years of calling and this and that and
So what made you give in though?
Well, because I was like, the first one didn't work out. I dated these other guys, that didn't work out. Let me give him a shot.
I get it. So I have to ask you this: do you think marriage is for forever?
No.
Me neither.
Yeah.
Most people would crucify us.
Oh, for thinking that.
Yeah. What are your thoughts on that? And then I'm gonna give you mine.
The reason why I say marriage is not forever is because, again, sometimes the person that you're with is selling a version of them.
Right.
And then you get married right away. I got married quickly on the first two.
Me too on the first.
The last one I did not though. But on the
Okay.
first two, I got married very quickly. And then you're in this relationship, and all of a sudden, what it is that they promised you is not who they truly are.
Right.
And that's why I say it's not forever, is because if they sold you a lie, you don't have to stay in that lie.
Yeah.
You don't have to put up with that person's shit.
I agree.
You don't have to like sit there
or abuse.
You don't have to take it.
I agree.
If it's not working, if they're abusive with you, if this person makes you feel less than, and you talk to them about it and you explain it to them and they don't care, they're not the one for you.
I agree. So I 100% what you said, but I think that, and this is just going a little deeper.
And people change.
Yeah, people do change, and they get bored with one another and tired, and to me that's okay too. I believe that God allows two entities to come together sometimes to birth a certain entity.
Yes.
Like they want this person here between these two people for whatever reason.
Because that person has a purpose.
Right. So you have to bring that person to the earth, and then sometimes it's over.
Yeah.
You know, you fulfilled your purpose. And I know people would disagree with me totally on that, but it's my thoughts, my feelings. And I don't give a fuck. Anyway, I don't, because
no, but it's true.
who am I?
But it's honestly true, because a lot of people stay stuck in relationships.
A lot.
Because they think they have to stay in the relationship for the children. And honestly, what are you?
It makes it worse.
It makes it worse. And then you have to think, what are you really teaching your child?
To stay in abuse, just to stay in a place you're unhappy, to stay in a place where you're unfulfilled, and to stay in a place that you hate.
Right. Because you can absolutely divorce that person.
Yeah.
And still have an okay relationship with
a healthy
relationship. You can co-parent.
I agree.
It's okay to co-parent that child. But the bitterness, the yelling, all of that, you have to think about, what is it that I'm
trauma
that I'm showing my child,
That's true.
Yeah.
And children tend to mimic what they see. So a son or a daughter could be abusive, or they can accept abuse. Because I actually
because they think that that's the way a
that's
relationship is
normal.
supposed to be. Because that's how I was with the first relationship.
Okay.
So after my parents divorced, my mom, I tell people, I think she kind of went on a little mental break.
Okay.
Because my life turned to shit. Honestly, it really did. My mom was not the mom she was before. And I honestly think that she was just going through a nervous breakdown.
Okay.
In all reality, I think she was going through a nervous breakdown. And she ended up with all of these men that were alcoholics and younger than her, and it would be insane, fighting, things like that. And
Right.
I was 12 whenever the divorce happened, so I was still at a very impressionable age, and I grew up thinking that's what relationships are supposed to be like. You're supposed to have these like passionate, heavy fights and things like that.
Like, so, that's love, right?
Yeah, like that's love. we're just passionate people. And so when I was with my first husband, we fought like that.
Okay.
But I wasn't the kind of woman that just took it. Like, I fought back.
Right.
Because that's just who
Did you
I
beat?
am. Yes. But
you whipped that ass.
Because that's just it takes me a while to get there.
Yeah.
But once you've gotten me there.
Marisol, you didn't. I asked you, did you whip that ass?
I did.
Okay. I love you. You're so
but again, like, it took me a while to get to that point. But then once I get to that point, fucking run.
Right.
Because that's
the cray
when,
come out.
Yes, very much so. And he was the only husband I ever had that would push me to that point.
Okay.
Everyone else after that, like, I never got physical with them.
Okay.
But he would get physical with me, and I wouldn't just take it. I got physical back.
I tell my now husband how blessed we both are that I'm not that person from back then. Because I used to swing. I used to poke men in their foreheads. I was going to say poke niggas in their head. Yeah, like, talking about bitch. Like, I was just like a hot mess. And I had a very, very, very short fuse to bring that out. But I had to go through my healing process to become calm and peaceful, the person you met.
I went through therapy.
Yeah.
It took therapy for me to realize that, for me to have the tools to fix me.
Yes.
And so it was after the second divorce. And after the second divorce, I was like, okay, I seem to be picking the same person, but just in a different,
that's why I went,
sort of like outfit or something.
Yes.
And I was like, so obviously there's something with me that I need to fix, because I don't want that.
Right.
And so I did. I and that's the best thing anyone could ever do for themselves. The most luxurious thing you could ever do for yourself,
is heal.
Screw the handbag, screw all of that. The most luxurious thing you can ever do for yourself is therapy. And because you are paying someone to listen to you.
Yeah.
And it's someone that has no judgment, and they are only there to help you. And what you say stays in that office.
It's confidential.
It's confidential.
Yes.
And you can completely open up about everything that's going on, and they will put tools in your toolbox to help you make it better.
I love it.
And it did. Like, it helped me find that calm within me.
Mm-hmm.
And it was at that point that whenever I did go out on a date, because I had decided, it was then I found out that I was codependent. Okay. And with codependency, people associate codependency just with like drug addictions and so forth like that. Well, there's two sides to codependency. There's the person who has the addiction to whatever the addiction may be, and who is the abuser and so forth. And then there's the other side of the coin, is the person who wants to heal that person.
Right.
And the person who wants to heal that person is not because we're trying to do it out of the goodness of our hearts. It's because we feel like we're broken too. And then that's going to validate who we are if we can fix them.
Right.
And it's a form of control.
Wow. I never looked at it like that.
I've had to have that mirror put up to me.
Okay.
And when I had that mirror put up to me, I was like, what? You know?
Okay.
But it was a very jagged, hard pill to swallow. But I had to be honest with myself if I was going to fix myself.
Okay.
And so I started to realize, you know what? It is about control. Because whether I realized it or not, I was trying to control everything in my life.
Okay.
I was trying to control even the people around me.
But you know what? What I've learned in adulthood, we can't. Like, there's certain things even now I have no control over.
Yeah, and I had to let it go.
And I'm like, ooh, you know, and sometimes it actually causes me anxiety.
Yes, me too.
Knowing that I can't control.
And then you have to do your breathing exercises.
Yes.
And be like, it's going to be all right. It's going to be all right. It's going to be all right.
Yes.
Yeah, just let it go.
You know, so I pray, I meditate, and I keep moving forward.
Yeah.
You know.
And that's the only thing you can do.
Yeah.
And that brings me to a saying that I tell everybody all the time. And I firmly believe it. And it came from Gene Simmons of Kiss.
Okay.
And he said it like on his the TV show, that the Family Jewels that he had.
Okay.
And so the saying is, and he said, always remember this, kids. If you're still alive, you're still in the game.
Yes.
There is no such thing as failure. If you're still alive,
I agree.
You're still in the game.
That's true.
So I let people know that goes with everything.
Right.
If your business fails, it's okay.
Right.
Pick up, start something new. You tried that idea, it didn't work. Now you know what didn't work. Apply that towards something new.
I agree.
It's not a failure. You're now moving in a new direction.
You know, I feel like for a lot of things, I've started over again.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay with that. Because like you said, I'm still here. I'm still in the game, and life goes on.
Yeah.
And I keep it moving. And a lot of people might not agree with me in this aspect, but money comes and goes.
It does.
Right. So as long as I have my health, that I could do it again, or I could do something better, or I could create something else, or
so long as you don't give up.
Yeah.
It's just don't give up.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
So I have to ask you, no. Before we get there. So 2 social media posts. How do you feel about TikTok being banned in Montana?
I'm not sure like how I feel about TikTok in general. Only because the whole thing with me, and social media in general, is when I go on social media with Facebook and Instagram and things like that, I feel as though everything is jumping out at me. You know, constantly
right,
jumping out at me. And same thing with even TikTok with all the videos. And we even talked about it, that my son and I call it going down the dark rabbit hole of the internet.
Yes.
And everything. And even with TikTok, like I honestly worry about people's mental health. Because when we look at social media and we look at TikTok and we look at everything, even Facebook, all of those, we are only seeing a version of what people want us to see.
Right.
And so we're only seeing the good, happy things. And so for those who may
you
not
think so? I see people crying. I'm like, why are you crying on the internet?
So maybe it's my algorithm. that I'm only seeing happy things. Maybe
I'm like, Mama says, clean it up. You stop it. Stop that crying on the internet. Go to your therapist.
So
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No. Maybe it's my algorithm that I'm only seeing the happy things.
Really? That's all you see?
For the most part, yeah. I don't see a lot of crying and things like that.
Okay, I have to stop you.
Which is weird because I love murder mysteries. And so I'm always like looking for like murder mysteries.
Okay, so our second thing is murder mysteries. So have you ever seen they call it some type of walk where they're going to donate organs?
No.
Have you seen that?
No.
And it's like the dead person is on a bed.
Okay.
Not on a slab. They're on a bed, and they're rolling the bed to the place they donate their organs. You've never seen that? Girl, I don't know how that came up, but I cried like a baby. But then I Googled or put whatever the walk is in the search, and so many people are doing this. I mean, nurses are crying and doctors are crying, and I'm like, this is overwhelming.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to know you have all happy stuff. I had to change my algorithm with that.
Yeah, because you were like, this is enough.
It was like my heart's just palpitating. I'm just like crying. So the second thing is, since you like murder mystery, and I saw this morning, the firing squad is about to take place July 1st in Idaho. As a death sentence. Yeah, they're bringing back the firing squad.
Whoa.
So, the guy that killed the 4 college students?
Was he convicted?
Well, he's being arraigned today, or he was arraigned this morning. So they're going to seek the death penalty and the firing squad.
Wow.
What do you feel?
Because what if they're wrong? Because there has been times, because as everyone knows, for Texas, we do have the death penalty. We are a state that has the death penalty. And there has been times where the person had been executed, and then years later, new evidence comes about. They find out that person, not only were they in jail for 20 years and then executed for the crime, they weren't the ones who committed the crime. Yeah, it is horrible, honestly.
But what about him? Like, do you think, like, if he murdered those 4?
Yeah, I don't know about the firing squad. That's a little intense.
So what? It was intense that he murdered college students.
It is intense that he murdered the college students and everything. And that also brings up the whole debate of what is a humane death sentence.
Who cares about humane? It's a death.
And that's what I'm saying, that they're honestly, any type of death sentence, there is no humane way to do it.
Right. The anxiety. That's what I believe.
For a life. And and basically the Bible as well.
Yeah. An eye for an eye, a tooth for a tooth. You pull my tooth, I'm gonna pull your I'm pull tooth.
And everything. Yes.
You're you're too nice.
Well, for me, I'm just kind of like, because in all honesty, like, if anything were to happen to my family, I probably would be the fucker that would stab you.
Right.
Because again,
thank you for saying that.
Well, because again, I have to get to a point.
Right, right.
And I even tell my husband all the time, because so my mother-in-law, God rest her soul, I loved her to death, but she used to always worry about me.
Okay.
Because I do things on my own, and she, Marisol, you don't need to be like traveling by yourself. And I'm like,
really?
Why wouldn't I travel by myself?
Like, I love traveling alone.
What the heck are you talking about? Well, not only that, my first husband was a kickboxer.
Okay.
And so we trained together.
Oh, wow. Okay, Marisol.
And so anyway, again, that's why I'm like, I would be the fucker that would stab you. But I would tell her all the time, I'm like, Laura, you don't have to worry about me. You need to worry about them.
Right. Okay.
You need to worry about the person that touches me.
Snap. Okay.
And I always tell my husband, I was like, now they may get me in the end, because maybe I won't do that final death blow. I don't know.
Okay.
Haven't really been in that position.
Right,
I've been in positions before where I've had to beat somebody on the ground, but
yes, honey.
But not like
bring
final
us the magic.
death blow.
Bring us the magic. Bring us the magic, honey.
But I told him, I was like, but look for the fucker that's missing an eye. And
yes.
I was like, and that's the one who did it.
I think I'm too happy on what you're saying. They probably say she really needs some therapy.
But for me though, like, as far as like I guess it's always the mystery of the what if. Okay. And so like for the death squad, they used to hang people, all of that, electric chair, everything. I'm always kind of like, what if you got it wrong? Like, and that's
Marisol,
what
we can't think like that.
Now, if they caught them like in the middle of stabbing the person, then I'm like, okay, there's no like we can't misunderstand that. Like that literally happened.
But what about reasonable doubt? Like if there's none,
right?
And all the information leads to that one individual.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess for like the firing squad, it just makes me.
I like it.
Well, it makes me think of things like all of those apocalyptic movies. You know what I mean? I like those movies too. And I'm like, are we on the edge?
But I think that if you hurt someone, right?
Mhm.
Like these 4 college students, like I think they should have took you outside and just killed you then and there, like chop your head off or something.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
Let's
saying?
just be done with it.
Yeah, let's just get it over.
Like the Wild West.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, and I think if people steal, you should chop a finger off.
Isn't there some countries like?
Yeah, like I literally think that would stop people from stealing, right?
Yeah,
and it would stop a lot of crime.
But then again, what if someone said they stole from me? They chopped the hand off, and then they
I agree with
you
that.
you never even touched it.
Okay.
Because that goes into like a whole thing too, like with just people in general. You know that
you're right.
I had a whole thing in high school that I never knew. There was a rumor about me that
really.
So in high school, apparently there was a rumor about me that I slept around. And
really?
I did not. I was a virgin. I was a virgin until my first husband.
Okay.
And so with my first husband, whenever we
consummated,
mm-hmm. and he's like, I knew it. I'm like, knew what? Mm-hmm. And he's just like, I knew all everything everybody said wasn't true. What on earth are you talking about?
Okay.
And he's like, you didn't know? Didn't know what? What are you talking about? And then he told me.
Okay.
And I'm like, are you kidding me? And he's like,
really?
No. He goes, people even told me to be careful with you because that you slept around, da 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 da. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, what? And it was an ex-boyfriend.
Probably somebody jealous.
That was trying to like make himself look good, and told people, oh, I broke up with her because I caught her cheating on me with such and such. And yeah, I hit that too. And, and he's
Men
the one
lie
that started,
all the time.
But I had no clue, no idea. Mm-hmm. So that goes like with the whole thing. Like, what if someone says something about you?
That's not true.
That's not true. And then you're being punished for it, you know, and you didn't even know.
Right. Mm-hmm. I had the same boyfriend from 10th grade to college. But there was also a rumor that I slept around. Now, I slept with a couple guys, but I didn't sleep around.
Yeah.
But it is what it is because I'm sure they would love to hit it now. I'm just saying.
Right.
So, but all right.
Well, going back to the murder thing.
Yes.
So, I just recently read like a whole little news article. So, Renee Zellweger came out with like this whole biopic about a woman, Pam. The name of it is What About Pam? And I can't remember her last name. She framed a man for a murder she did, and he was in jail for years for the murder. He was convicted and everything, and then new evidence came about that released him. Okay. And when he was released, she still wanted him framed for that murder. She killed another man trying to frame him for that.
That's
crazy.
Then
that's when they realized it was her and that she was doing all of these killings, and she ended up being convicted.
So that reminds me of Emmett Till. I don't know if you know that story.
Yes.
How
Yes, with the woman that accused him and then they lynched him. And
right.
That's horrible.
And it just reminds me, and I don't mean to go here, but I do mean to go here, about how white women can cry on demand and say that black men or a particular person have done something to them, and then they get shot or whatever it is. And I hate that. And I'm not saying all white people are like this, because I have friends of all cultures, but I just hate the fact that something like that can still take place. For example, a couple weeks ago, it was a young lady, Bellevue Hospital, and I saw it on TikTok and other platforms, when she was saying that this young man stole the bike, and it's a bike you can rent.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, "Get off the bike. This is my bike." And she starts screaming, "Help." And like all the people ran to help her, but never asked.
Like, what's the situation?
Yeah.
What's going
They
on?
just automatically assumed that he took the bike from her. So I'm not sure if she got fired. I know the hospital was reprimanding her.
Yeah, I remember
for
that article. Yeah, because like I even looked at it and I was like, ugh.
Yeah, I was like, this woman is crazy. I would not want you touching my body.
Yeah.
Like, just think how many people she served that were not like her. And maybe things she could have said or did. We don't know. So I just wish that people were judged as individuals and not as a collective.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
No, absolutely makes complete sense. Yeah.
So
I was at a mall with a few friends, and there were these three young men that were outside of one of the candy stores, Lolly and Pops.
Okay.
And they looked like teenagers.
Okay.
But they were being very loud and everything, and the three young black men.
Okay.
And so we had gone into Lolly and Pops to look for candy because I was going to get candy for myself.
I like that store. Go ahead. I like it. I like it.
Cute and everything. And the person that was supposed to be working there wasn't even there. And all of a sudden, one of the young men says, "Oh my God," and runs into the store behind the counter and ducks behind the counter. And his friends over there saying, "Why are you ducking? Why are you like real loud and everything?" Well, my friends were like, "Oh my God, what's going on? We need to leave."
I would have been like that though.
Well, and for me, I'm just like, okay, we can go, no big deal.
Okay.
But as we're leaving, this girl comes around and she's just like, "Why are you hiding?" Like to the young man.
Oh,
and everything.
Man.
And so, but for me, like as we're going, my friends were over there saying, "Oh my gosh, they were being so rude and so loud, and there's no telling." I felt threatened, and I'm like, why would you feel threatened? They were being teenagers.
I wouldn't have felt threatened. I think I would have been nervous because of the climate that we're in.
Well, yeah, that you don't really know.
Yeah, we don't know what's going on at any moment with all the shootings and
Yeah. Well, but for me though, like talking to her, I was like, why would you feel threatened? They just three teenagers. Boys. I was like, I understand him running in and running behind the counter. Obviously, he was hiding from the girl.
Right.
He didn't know how to handle his emotions. And so his fight or flight response, he flew and like hid from her, and her coming in going, "What are you doing?" So clearly he has like strong feelings for her.
And I love how you brought that out. But I think the media has showed us so many negative things that many of us are afraid at anything loud. If we hear a loud bang and it's a book, and we're ducking, you know what I'm saying? So maybe I should stop watching the news.
No, I think it just has to do with like just maybe even environments in general, because like where I grew up in a very poor neighborhood, and there were gunshots and things like that. And so the neighborhood I grew up was like maybe 2-3 streets away from Acres Homes, kind of a thing. And so for me, that was kind of normal that if you hear a loud bang, drop, kind of a thing. And so maybe it just has to do with environment, which also goes with the whole perception of that her all of a sudden being worried, about three young men being kind of like rambunctious. I would say rambunctious because really they were joking with each other and everything, and laughing and everything, and they were standing right outside of the Lolly and Pops and all of that, and I just saw them as teenagers. I remember being a teenager. And
having that.
Yeah, us running crazy through the mall. And
so on the flip side, right, if I saw someone white, a white boy with all black on and a hoodie, I would get the hell out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, because I've been conditioned. Because
of media, yes. What's going on.
So it goes different ways. So I just want my listening audience to know it's a variety of factors. I have to ask you this. So you're not in a dating space. So if you had to ask me one life coaching question, what would it be?
Oh, that's a good question. Because I would have to really think on that as far as for like life coaching.
Mm-hmm. It could be anything.
Yeah. I would really have to think on that.
Okay. So I give each guest an opportunity to ask something that they would want to know, or maybe know for someone else, or
someone else.
Okay.
So, life coaching question.
Okay.
Being that you have been married 5 times.
Yes.
Okay. And if someone is going through like a divorce, etc., things like that, what I've noticed is talking to women who have gone through divorce, a lot of them sit there and they start to like think no one will ever love them.
Really?
Yes. So life coaching, how would you address someone having that sort of a feeling?
Girl, fix yourself up and get back out in those streets, because it's somebody for everybody. And another man's junk is another man's treasure.
Yes.
Totally. And I can say that because one of my ex-husbands said, nobody's going to want you. I said, watch.
Exactly.
And I think I was married a year and a half later. So as we think, so it is.
Yeah.
So the person has to have positive thoughts regarding themselves. You can't allow other people's words to condition who you are or make you believe a certain thing. As you think, so it is. So be in that positive space and positive affirmations.
Yes.
So how can people get in contact with you?
So it would be info at Baxter, BAXTER, Graham, GRAHAM.com.
One of my last names was Graham.
Nice.
Yeah, one of my last names was Graham. I just kind of like put the 2 and 2 together. So anyway, you guys, I want to say thank you for tuning in. Another amazing episode of 50 Shades of Blue podcast. And I'm super excited to have my guest Marisol Graham, Baxter Graham here, and just dropping gems and just her creativity, her purse line. Somebody needs to buy this bag today, okay? $4,300 ain't nothing but some coins, okay? For you to have a one of a kind. So I want to say thank you. You can also write in with your questions. 50 Shades of Blue podcast. I always want to say gray. 50 Shades of Blue podcast at gmail.com, and ask away, and we'll answer them live for you. And hopefully we can start a dialogue going. So I want to say thank you all, and don't forget to, all y'all ladies who can't find a man.
There you
go, right there. 134 reasons you can't find a man. And that book was actually me going to Sasua and interviewing tons of men and asking them why they felt that, some women couldn't find dates, a husband, yada, yada. So check it out. So have a great one, everyone. You're super amazing, and I love you. And share the word, okay? Like, subscribe, share. Have a blessed one. Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to 50 Shades of Blue podcast. We hope you found it informative, enjoyable, and entertaining. If you have any questions or feedback, please don't hesitate to reach out to us on Instagram at 50 Shades of Blue podcast. Be sure to like and share. Make sure to subscribe to our podcast and leave us a review on your preferred platform. It helps us reach more people and improve our content. If you like this episode, please share it with your friends, enemies, and colleagues. We appreciate your support and look forward to bringing you more great content in the future.